Welcome to Arkansas Transition Services Pop-Up PD Series. This session is the third of 3 on post-secondary goals, where we will cover writing a measurable post-secondary independent living skill community participation goal based on transition assessment results. We all know to make progress, we have to set goals. Without goals, you might have difficulty knowing where you're going. Sometimes you need a map, especially if your goal is to be as independent as possible and enjoy all that your community has to offer. Goals within a transition plan can be part of that map. When it comes to students transitioning from high school to life after high school, a meaningful, measurable goal can help them navigate toward positive outcomes. This pop-up PD is about establishing measurable post-secondary goals in the area of independent living and community participation using relevant transition assessment data. You already know that a goal is required for the area of employment and education and training in a student's transition plan. But were you aware that a student's preferences, interests, needs, and strengths in the area of independent living must also be considered to determine if a goal in this area is appropriate? If the team has given appropriate assessments in a variety of areas for independent living and it's determined a goal is appropriate, the goal must be measurable, post-secondary, appropriate, and based on transition assessment. The goal will also correlate with the employment and education training goals. Let's talk more about assessments. There are a variety of areas to assess to determine if a goal is appropriate and the area of focus for the goal. For example, a student who is planning to go to college may need to work on budgeting skills or healthcare management to live as independently as possible in a dorm. They may need to know how to access disability supports from that office at the college they plan to attend. Assessing self-determination skills is essential to help ensure students know how to continue getting the support they need. We must consider more than just those daily living skills of cooking and cleaning. There are many assessment options available to identify the preferences, interests, needs, and skills a student has in the area of independent living, from healthcare management to financial literacy to self-determination. Once you find the appropriate transition assessments for your student and know their strengths and areas of need, you have better information to establish an independent living skills community participation goal that will help them succeed in the future. Let's go back to the example in previous pop-up PD sessions of Mrs. Caldwell using transition assessments for Elizabeth. Some assessment results allowed the team to determine the appropriate employment goal of becoming a computer network engineer and the education goal of attending a local college to get her associate's degree in computer network engineering. But what about Elizabeth's needs to live on her own and participate in her community? Through many conversations with Elizabeth, Mrs. Caldwell knew that she didn't really know how to save money or advocate for supports she will need in college. Elizabeth talked a lot about making meals for her family and helping her mom shop, but she stated her mom always took care of her doctor's appointments. Mrs. Caldwell and other teachers had given a variety of assessments over the years to help determine needs, and this year Mrs. Caldwell gave more, like the AIR self-determination scale, the financial literacy inventory, the transition health plan for youth with disabilities, as well as observing her in the family and consumer science class. One very important thing Mrs. Caldwell did was she took time with Elizabeth to discuss her areas of need to be successful in her community. As Mrs. Caldwell summarizes assessment results and considers her observations and conversation, she completes the goal on the transition plan. She knows that the post-secondary component is already accounted for within the transition plan template because it already states after high school. Mrs. Caldwell puts in Elizabeth's name and again keeps the measurable component in place by following Will with self-advocate for needed supports at college and in managing her health and finances. Now all components are in place for a compliant goal: appropriate, measurable, post-secondary, and based on transition assessments. If Mrs. Caldwell and others on the team had determined that all aspects of independent living skills had been assessed and Elizabeth showed no areas of need, the team would indicate this by writing a statement in the box below the goal and activities area. They would leave the goal area blank, indicating she has sufficient skills in all areas. Most of the time, this isn't the case with students because there are so many areas to consider. So having assessment data to justify that is essential. Mrs. Caldwell will continue planning with Elizabeth, making sure they work on a variety of tasks in the classroom that will help her reach her independent living skills and community participation goal and achieve success. Thank you for watching this video. For more information, go to our website at www.arkansastransition.com, or you can contact your area transition consultant.